far.
Don't tell Chris where you got the tape.
Okay. Well, you got it. I'll let you.
No, we're both in this together. We're both code
Oh.
criminals.
Well, I'm just following orders here.
Well, me too. You
Just a
told me
good
to do
Army
it.
kid.
Just a few more seconds.
About 20 more.
I wish I had recorded our phone conversation, because what you said on the phone made a lot of sense to me.
I should have written it down.
Yeah, I should have written it down.
At Trinity?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, tell me how hard you worked. What did you do?
Well, one of the things we did is we installed our equipment with another engineer by the name of Marlowe, and I can't remember what his the first or last name is, and hooked it up to other people's lines or equipment, lines I should say rather than equipment. And then of course we went through the dry runs, and it's not unusual for you to do 10 or 12 dry runs with each customer until he's happy and you're happy.
How many customers did you have, do you think?
I don't know. I don't remember.
A couple hundred?
A lot of them. No, I don't think it was a couple of hundred. I think probably something in the order of 30 or 40.
They wanted this, and they wanted that, and they wanted this, and they wanted that. What? Tell me. Were they long days? Or were you really busting butt down there?
We got up around 6 o'clock in the morning, had our breakfast, and then went out in the field to work. And some mornings we got up earlier than that because in the middle of July it's pretty hot on the desert. Early in the morning it's like 30 some odd degrees, but by the time 4 o'clock rolls around it's 100 and some odd degrees.
Was it easy work? Was it hard work? Lots of hours?
It was really nice and clean work as far as our group was concerned, because we had all these boxes made and already wired internally and whatnot, and all we had to do is help people hook up to our equipment and then run some tests.
What do you think of the hours? Did you work a lot of long hours? Ben says, you can get all the preparation you want, but when that date starts coming up, you're never ready.
Oh, that's right.
Could you tell me something about that? For what you were doing? Were you guys ready, or were you busting your butt?
Well, we were ready, but our readiness had to be in conjunction with some of our customers. And we had to know from the charts that Joe McKibben made, this customer goes on at such and such a time, comes off at such and such a time, is repeated so many times. And if they all came out fine, why, it was great, but you didn't find it worked that way. There were a lot of times you had to go back and improve.
So I bet you worked out all the bugs in the dry runs then.
Oh, you betcha we did.
What happened with coming up on Countdown and all that? Tell me what was going on at Countdown what kinds of things were you doing when the countdown started?
I was standing in front of a relay rack, and my instructions were at such and such a time, plug in so-and-so, shut off so-and-so, throw the power switches, monitor this and that and the other thing. And I don't remember, to tell you the truth, how long the countdown lasted, whether it was 15 minutes or a half an hour. I remember that they started the countdown, let me change that, I think we detonated at 5:30, I think. Yeah, and the night before, while it was raining, waiting for 5:30 to come around, everybody was well ready by that time, but before that, why, it was not havoc, but after dinner, after your lunch or whatever it was, you went back out in the field and it did some more work.
Were you rushing around doing a lot of things?
No, I think by this, well, our equipment was especially well taken care of because we had Joe McKibben as guidance.
He's a pretty sharp cookie.
Yeah.
So, okay, the real countdown started, according to Bob, at 45 seconds. Now, I don't know if you had other countdowns prior to that for you.
This is Bob Henderson.
Yeah, he says over the radio there was some guy, Norm Allison or someone like that, was saying 45, and there was a little bell going off at each second.
It was a bell went off at each second, and there was a drum that turned, I think, 1 revolution each second. Ask me the question again, please.
So what were you doing in those 45 seconds? Tell me just what, tell me exactly.
Standing around watching the drum rotate.
You weren't flipping switches or anything like that?
No, but the countdown started much earlier than that. I think he's wrong when he said that.
Yeah.
The drum took 45 seconds. The drum took 1 second to make a complete revolution, and it did, and it worked for 45 seconds, as I remember it. And listen, we had situations where several hours before the event really took place, why they would take attendance and whatnot, and to make sure everybody was on station to do their thing, so to speak. And all of that, I think, is part of the countdown. When he says the real countdown, I wonder what he means by that.
Actually, it was McKibben. I think he means when the automatic timer took over.
Oh, well, that's a possibility, sure. Yeah, before the automatic timer turned on, you could shut off and start all over again. We could even shut off while the automatic timer was running too.
So I bet you there were wires going to what, the radiation places, the South 10, and from South 10 to the radiation bunkers to all the different test equipment up to West 10, North 10.
Well, let me say it another way. I can't remember all the types of experiments that were performed, but there were a lot of them. And I feel insecure about talking about this, only in the sense that since I wasn't heartily involved in that kind of an operation, I hate like hell to give you an answer.
Yeah.
But there was something about drum rotating once every second, and 45 seconds were required. And I can't say I can remember anything more than that.
Okay. How would you sum up your Trinity experience? I mean, looking back 50 years. Did you work hard? Was it a good spirit among working with people? I mean,
well, I'm a little bit influenced with my past experience to answer that question. Trinity taught me a lot of things. Number one, that you can't be too careful, and number two, you got to be really thorough in your work. And then the bomb didn't go off on top of a tower, and you know who went up to get it. And then another bomb prematured on me, and I saved the lives of 3 guys when I refused to do what my management want me to do. That all that has an effect on your thinking, you know.
yeah.
It hasn't got a damn thing to do with Trinity, but
If you're going to look back at Trinity, how would you sum that thing up? Was it?
somebody said that the person who said this was it was an awe-inspiring event. That somebody said that Bradbury said that. I claim I said it, but he was a director.
Yeah.
I'm a peon.
Yeah. So you would say it was an awe-inspiring event?
You
Did
betcha.
it change the world? I mean, everybody says about that first damn bomb blast down in southern New Mexico changed history and made a whole new world and stuff like that. Is that true?
I don't think so. It's true those 2 bombs helped end the war in a hurry. My opinion is when MacArthur wanted to use one in Korea, he should have given it to him and let him use it. But that's not a sociable conversation with anybody. That's insubordination.
You better be careful, Mr. Tribal. All right, we're almost done. What do you kind of know what I've been asking you. Anything you want to add, anything you want to say about Trinity or your job or the people you worked with, or?
As I said earlier, I think the Trinity people were very dedicated to their tasks and did a wonderful and thorough job.
How well did you do your job?
Pardon me?
How well did you do your job?
Well, you know, things got pretty loose after the shots went off successfully, and I felt I did a great job. But on the other hand, I had a wife coming to Albuquerque, and I thought being with her was more important.
Yeah. So, I mean, how do you feel about the job that you did down there?
Oh, I was completely satisfied with our performance. And then, of course, you get a nice letter from the higher-ups up at Los Alamos, which was known as the Post Office Box 1663. And I don't know what to do with the letter, but it's complimentary. And, of course, it's complimentary because the operation was a success.
Yeah. If it didn't happen, it'd really be hell to pay, huh?
Yeah.
Say one thing for me, just to, and I'm going to put words in your mouth. In timing, we had all kinds of customers who wanted all kinds of experiments done. It was my job to help accomplish these things. Something along those lines. Does that make sense?
Well, it makes sense only in the dry run operation, you see.
I'm just trying to figure out some way that we can communicate to everybody the kind of job that the timing was doing down there at the Trinity site.
I'm honestly lost. I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah.
And I guess neither do you. That's why we're fishing for it.
That's why I've been fishing, yeah.
But I think old Joe McKibben, are you going to go see him again?
No, we're done with him.
Oh, sorry about that.
You're the Omega here.
Did he have any good words for me?
Yeah, he told, we didn't use it in the show, but he talked about, you can cut, Castor. Go ahead, you ready? What was the job of timing down at Trinity?
What was the job?
Yeah.
Don't know how to answer it. Just stand by a minute. We might put something together.
Okay. You tell me when you're ready. All right. What was the job of timing down in Trinity?
Timing is a phenomenon, you see, is one of what bothers me, in the sense that if a signal is supplied to zero at zero time, that signal is going to get way down below us. So many milliseconds or microseconds added to the time it took to get to the first location. And I'm not sure anybody who was there can answer the question the way you're asking it.
When I ask the job of timing, I mean, maybe I should ask you, what was McKibben's job?
McKibben was appointed insofar as being in charge of design and operation of the timing systems.
So what was the job of the timing systems? Was it to synchronize? Remember that word?
No, I don't think the word is synchronization within his own group and with his own equipment, yes. But when we go outside that group, we have a different kind of situation.
Well, then tell me about just your group then. What was the job of your group down at Trinity?
Well, we didn't have any specified number, so to speak. Nor did we have a specified interval of time to complete our work. I can tell you about timing of some of the relays we had.
Well, what was your overall job down there? What was the job of your group down there?
Make sure this equipment is good, drivable, and get it down to the Trinity test site and start checking out with people who are our customers to see what shape we're in.
Okay.
I don't think you want to use those exact words, though,
No.
know how.
No. Kevin, do you have any help for us? He's
One thing.
I couldn't hear you. What was that?
Supplying signals at the right time to the users. We were requested to advise them how long to stay on the air and when to get off the air. I don't know if advising is a good word. I'm stuck. I can't help you on that at the moment.
Well, let's move on. Was there? How many signals do you think you had to send out from North 10,000? Or were you just flipping switches the whole time?
Oh no, not that hectic at all. And a lot of this equipment was automated in the sense that. Did you read all about the relays and all that good stuff?
Mm-hmm.
34 steps, change polarity each step to make them advance one notch.
No, I didn't read that. Tell me about that.
I just told you.
Well, tell me again, because I wasn't paying close enough attention.
Okay, one of the characteristics of the 4 master relays that we had in the overall timing situation involved relays that would step 34 different steps. Each step there was I think a 5 millivolt or 5 milliampere current through the line, and each step the polarity would be reversed, and you went through that for 34 steps. There's some signals, if you will, to a customer, and you multiply that by 4, we got 140 some odd now, I think.
So you had signals going all over the place.
Yeah, well, that's a broad terminology that.
Well, it's kind of apt, don't you think? I mean, you had North 10,000, Southwest.
Yeah, and West 800 and West 10,000.
I don't know what else to ask you.
I don't know either.
Okay. Did I confuse you?
Sent to the man in charge of timing.
Timing what?
Timing of events. Timing of happenings. Keep pushing.
What does that mean? Like when people ate, or what? What does that mean?
No, I don't think we cared when people ate. We had a job in the field to incorporate various relays, timers, and that type of equipment so that the users would have the capability of being provided with a signal at the right time.
And who were the users, and what did the signal do?
Well, the users were customers. That's a vague answer.
Who were the customers?
And a customer is an example of your friend here knows a man whom I worked with over the years. He's involved with the camera and crossroads and things like this. He was a customer, and we would turn his camera on at so many milliseconds or microseconds or seconds after a certain time and let it run for so long and then shut it off. Then we go to the next customer.
So what were you capturing with the cameras?
What were we capturing? We were capturing something we were asked to do. I'm sorry to be so vague, but
When you say, yeah, okay.
What were the signals? I mean, what truly were they?
what were the signals? Well, there were voltage signals and there were timing signals.
What were they being received by, or did they activate some kind of mechanism?
Yeah, they activated some type of mechanism, namely a meter or something like that.
So how did you know that you got what the customer wanted?
Well, number one, he would tell us pretty straightforwardly if we didn't do what he wanted. And the second thing I would say is they were very thankful when everything worked properly.
And when it worked properly, did they get the photograph that they wanted, or did the experiment happen at the time that it was supposed to, or what
Both.
constituted proper?
Both. I know you're trying very hard to help me, but I'm not getting it all.
That's okay. We went through some of this before
Well,
you
I
got
just
here.
don't get it, so I'm.
Well, see, yeah, that's,
Huh.
I'll have to read your paper over again. Timing of the Trinity explosion that McKibben gave you, that you gave to me.
Oh, okay.
Why don't you hold on? I'll go get that. I know
I
exactly.
got one with me from a bomb.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
I say the proper timing gave us a great big output from a bomb that otherwise could be a bummer.
Yeah, if it wasn't coordinated, things would have gone south pretty quick, I bet.
Right.
Okay. I don't know what else to say, Walt. I've already kept you here for an hour and a half.
I had a picture at one time of the power generator for South 10,000, a place where all the wires came up from the ground and went over the terrain. And I have a picture. I had this picture of showing all these wires and whatnot. When you retire, you throw all that stuff away.
Yeah. Was it crazy though? I mean, could you keep track of where everything was coming from and going to?
Pretty much so.
Yeah. Were you anxious about the blast at all? Were you kind of getting nervous? Was this thing going to work? Is my stuff going to work? Am I going to get everything done in time?
Well, that's an interesting question that goes way back, though, in this sense that when I first arrived at Los Alamos, nobody told me what was going on, and we had a daily quiz to see if I could pass all the college exams. And having satisfied that, they decided we better tell Tribal what's really going on here. And that's how I learned about detonations and Trinity and all that good stuff.
But when you were down there, were you anxious about anxious about the job, and were you all thinking, God, I don't know if this thing's going to work, and can I get my job done?
No, we didn't have the thought so much. We thought more about the thought of this thing might kill us all. It might expand much greater than we had calculated to the output.
Who came up with that idea? Was that just something that was a rumor, or?
You waited on the chow line. There was a lot of dignitaries and mixed in with the SEDs and things like this, and that's how that got started.
Yeah.
And of course, the theoretical physicists are the people who prompted the story. We might all go to the end.
So you really believe that, or you really were concerned about that?
Joe McKibben told me not to worry, that it would be okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's send you home, Walt. I think I've kept you here long enough.